I had a big problem that had been bothering me for a long time. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't solve it. I'm working on it to some extent now. To be honest, I initially thought that everything I was doing was right. I was trying to use all the productivity hacks, like blocking out time on my calendar, tracking everything I had to do, eating really good food, going to the gym, and so on. But even after doing all this, my battery runs out every day by 3 p.m. It's not just fatigue. I'm talking about a kind of fog in my head. I can't even say a single word. My focus goes completely, my motivation goes to zero. Then the work until the evening is a kind of drag. For a long time, I've been putting it off like this. I'll drink a coffee or eat something sweet and figure out how to move forward somehow. This is the value or hustle of productivity. I've been telling myself this since I was a child. There's a story we've heard since childhood, that success comes through hard work and long hours. Sleep is like a kind of tax on our time. It should be minimized and conquered. If we want to get a full A+ in class 10 and +2, we have to study without sleep. But if this story is completely wrong or if it is dangerously holding back our ability, then it's not because we work too hard, but because we are fighting a war with our own bodies without realizing it. The solution to this is not to take expensive supplements, or to do complex biohacking or a special morning routine. Instead, it's to identify the invisible enemies that are sapping our sleep and, therefore, our energy every night. I've been studying this topic for a long time. I've been reading books like Matthew Walker's Why We Sleep in PDF format, listening to Andrew Hoberman's podcasts, and doing a lot of experiments on myself. What I've discovered has changed not only my energy level but also my perspective on work, life, and productivity. However, I have to say that I'm not perfect. A few days ago, I had trouble falling asleep one night no matter how much I slept. But it's not as frequent now as it used to be. That's what I am going to share with you today. Because I'm sure this is the single most important thing that can help us improve our lives more than anything else. At the heart of this whole problem is a mismatch. I call it the great mismatch. Our bodies and brains are all still running on software that is millions of years old. That software was not designed for today's world. Think about it. Our ancestors controlled their lives with the help of a single bite. That is, when the sun rises, light comes into their eyes. That light gives a signal to their brain, which then produces hormones like cortisol. We know that everything we do is controlled by the production of hormones. This cortisol is not only a stress hormone, but also an important signal that wakes us up so that we are alert, focused, and ready to face the day. Then, after all that, when the sun sets, the world goes dark again. This darkness becomes another very powerful signal and reaches our brain through our eyes and tells the brain to release a hormone called melatonin. This is our biological clock, telling our body that it is time to sleep. Clock regulating, isn't there a cycle here? This one we call the circadian rhythm, it's the most important rhythm in our lives. Rhythm, that is, we can call it the master conductor of our biological orchestra, not only when to sleep and when to wake up, but also when to regulate our hormone levels, digestion, body temperature, and even our immune system. This rhythm, when this rhythm is consistent, our body will function like a well-oiled machine. But 150 years ago, in the blink of an eye on the timeline of our evolution, a villain entered our story and completely destroyed this system. That is the light bulb. Before that, we had villains. We had candles, firewood, and kindling, but it wasn't like a light bulb. It was just a temporary, very small distraction. But the light bulb is not like that. It made all the rooms and streets as bright as day. Then came the television, the computer, and finally the smartphone in our pockets. Suddenly we are starting to decide when the sun should set. We have created a world with 24-hour light. Our poor ancient bodies have no idea how to cope with this. It is as if we are living in a world with a sun that never sets. This great conflict has created the invisible enemies of our sleep. The first and most powerful enemy is what I call the light toxin. Light is not what we think it is, but our brains don't see it that way. There is a spectrum of blue light coming from our screens and LED lights. There are many different energy levels of light. It includes red, yellow, blue, infrared, ultraviolet, but the one light we need to pay attention to is this blue light that is moving on the sidelines of ultraviolet. Blue light is like a powerful drug for the brain. Our eyes have many different types of receptors to recognize each color of light. There are three important receptors. Red receptors, which are the cells that generate electrical signals when that light falls on them, green receptors, and blue receptors. But the most important of these, known as intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells, are the ones that recognize the different energies of this light. The receptors that detect blue light can react to the brain's master clock, which is why it is reported that it is daytime. So, a study conducted at Harvard proved that these blue lights have the ability to influence our brain more than any other color. A few people were made to sit in front of screens that emit blue light at night, and some people were made to sit in front of that light. The production of melatonin in the body of those who took the blue light decreased by half that night, which means that the sleep hormone began to decrease. Not only did their circadian rhythm go back by about 3 hours, which means that if it was 6 o'clock, the body felt like it was 6 o'clock, or the body that was supposed to go to bed at 10 o'clock at night was not ready to sleep even at 1 o'clock in the morning. Think about it. If just a screen can change our body clock so much, what would happen if we did this every day? How much does this affect the quality of our sleep? Did you know that our sleep has two important stages? One is deep sleep and the other is REM sleep, which is called rapid eye movement. This is a sleep in which our eyes become like this. We will talk about that in another video. It is in this deep sleep that the body does things to repair itself. It stores memories in the brain. Our emotional health improves during deep sleep, and our ability to learn new things increases there. This blue light destroys both deep sleep and deep sleep. In the end, even if you sleep for 8 hours, we will wake up feeling restless. But light is only part of the story. The second enemy is a little more subtle. I can call it the time cage. If I may, I am planning to write a book including all this script. I feel like it's live. Of course, I will let you know. Let's see if we can write a book that is more in-depth than this and that deals with these topics in chapters, including the topics we do on our channel. All this is what I have collected and said in many studies. Naturally, I have made references and deeper analysis of it. So, in the past, time was considered something that flows because we had no other duties. Get up in the morning, eat, and eat. You go hunting and stuff, but with the advent of factories and a pattern of working from 10 a.m. to 5 a.m., we all started to put time together. This is where we need to understand chronotypes. Some of us are genetically larks, meaning those who wake up in the morning are called larks, and they are always active during the day. There are others who are owls, and they are more active at night. They have a lot of difficulty waking up in the morning. It's generally something that they have in common. Most people fall somewhere in between. It's not just a preference. It's something that's in our DNA. There's a gene called PR3. The variation of this gene determines whether we're a night owl or a day owl. The problem is that our entire society is built for larks who wake up in the morning. School starts early, the office starts early. So that's why the world silently tells the 40% of people who are active at night that you're lazy. You have no discipline. This social pressure leads us to a state called social jet lag. This idea was put forward by Professor Till Roenberg of Ludwig-Maximilian University in Germany. In a large survey of about 65,000 people, he found that those who slept longer on the weekends, that is, those with social jet lag, were 3 times more likely to be obese. Think about it. A night owl or a night owl fights their body all week, setting an alarm at 7 a.m. and working, and then when Saturday and Sunday come, they go back to their natural routine and go to bed at 10 to 11 a.m. until noon. This shift in sleep time every week is like taking a flight from Tiruvananthapuram on Friday to Dubai and returning on Sunday. We build a cage of time around us, which brings us to the third enemy, the revenge mind. You may have heard the word revenge bet and procrastination, because this word comes from China, where they call it the 9 a.m. culture, which means working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. When there is no control in life, people try to find some time for themselves without going to bed at night. This is a silent protest. Your whole day is filled with meetings you don't like to answer, emails you have to answer, and other people's demands that no one asks you to do. The only time you really feel like you have is the few hours between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m., so you sacrifice much needed sleep. We'll watch one more episode, scroll through our phones for a little longer, and try to regain our freedom. What's going on here is a psychological theory called present bias, which means that we value present happiness more than the future. We sacrifice our energy and happiness for the comfort of the moment. This is a vicious cycle. Now, there's the fourth enemy that works silently. The thermal prison in Malayalam is the prison of heat. The most important thing for falling asleep, but one that no one pays much attention to, is our body's internal body temperature or core body temperature. The temperature inside needs to be lowered. If we want to get a really good night's sleep, our body temperature needs to be at least 1 degree Celsius lower than the average. For this, our body will release heat through our hands and feet. There's a classic experiment that came out in Nature magazine in 1999. Researchers put a few people with insomnia, in a special suit. The result was that this suit helped their body temperature drop very slowly. Do you know what? Those who wore the suit fell asleep faster than normal and got more deep sleep. What should we understand from this? Our bodies fall asleep when they cool down, but what do? We sleep in hot rooms under thick blankets. Not everyone can afford to turn on the AC. But what I said was about our habits. In the past, we were not so confined to our rooms, so there was a little more ventilation. So, the important question is, what can we do about all this? Identifying the problem is the first step, but I like to talk about practical things that we can do. So after reading all this research, I haven't read it all. After studying it a bit, I can suggest a simple system called the 4-lever sleep system. The first and most powerful lever is the light lever. You should get 10 to 15 minutes of direct sunlight in an hour. Don't wear sunglasses, but this morning's sun will help set our circadian rhythm, but don't look directly at the sun. Turn off the lights in your house an hour and a half before going to bed at night to create a digital sunset. The second way is called the scheduled lever. The most important thing here is consistency. The most important thing in a schedule is the time you wake up at the same time 7 days a week. There's no better way to avoid social jet lag. The third lever is the mind lever, which means you need a shutdown ritual, and one of the most important of these is the brain dump. A study conducted at Baylor University in 2018 demonstrates its power. I'm collecting data like this to make a different video about it. Researchers asked one group of people to write a list of things to do tomorrow before going to bed. The other group was also asked to write down what they did that day. The group that wrote down things for tomorrow got up on average 9 minutes earlier than the other group. Just think about how much just 5 minutes of writing can calm our minds. The fourth lever is the temperature lever. Make sure your bedroom is cool. Before going to bed, open the windows and doors to let out the hot air inside. Avoid using a thick blanket, and try to use a fan that provides good airflow. Not everyone can afford AC. When I heard that 20 to 22 degrees Celsius is a good temperature, but when you look at our geography or our climate, you can sleep well even at 26 degrees Celsius. Personally, I can't stand temperatures below 24 degrees Celsius. So, in short, the main cause of our fatigue is a mismatch between our ancient body and this hypermodium world, but we can fight it using many methods. Apart from what I said, you can read, learn, try and implement various methods, but they should all be healthy. We should not do more harm than good. None of this is about buying expensive gadgets or following complex protocols. This is a fundamental change in attitude. We should not say that sleep is a burden that wastes our time, but rather a tool to increase our productivity, ability and happiness. We should realize that sleep is the foundation of our lives. If it is broken, no matter what we build on top of it, it will collapse. This is what a person who saw sleep as the enemy for many years, who sacrificed sleep for study and work, says. When I started to integrate sleep with my biology, I was able to do more things in less time, make videos according to my schedule, maintain a punctuality, and work happily in the afternoon without fatigue. Ideas have improved, so my challenge is this. We did a sugar challenge before. It's ongoing. I'll post a video of it. My new challenge is these 4 things. I've mentioned 4 things that cause problems. I've given 4 solutions to those problems. Try those solutions and some of the solutions you've found for a week. Maybe one of them is a walk in the morning in the sun. Or getting up at the same time every day. Or trying to reduce the heat in our bedroom. Choose one and try it. You'll be amazed at the change it makes in your life. If we can gradually create a community where we do these kinds of challenges and share ideas, I'm planning to do that too. Then let's see if we can create a field where everyone can do the many challenges, many intentions and initiatives that we talk about in this video. I'm trying to see if we can create a common online and offline platform for that. Then we can be amazed at our changes. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you again in the next episode. I am currently running a course on how to speak confidently. Joining that course will make a difference in your life. The link to it and other things related to me are included below. Definitely check it out. See you again in the next episode. Bye.